Due to some technical difficulties, some of the audio on this episode is not the greatest. What a way to start a new year.
This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James, and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this first episode of 2021, Alix Cook and Mike Suderman are here to chat about a short-lived but fan-favorite show, Firefly, and its series-concluding film, Serenity. Welcome!
Hello.
Thank you for being here during this very strange time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's all excited when 2020 ended because it was such a horrible year, but I know the time changed and the name of the year changed, but has anything really changed yet?
I mean,
Sadly, no.
it's barely better.
Is it?
Oh, almost never.
Almost never, exactly. So, yeah. I don't know where it's going with that. It just seems depressing, but we're going to go with Firefly. Yay!
Yay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this. It's okay.
Whatever. Firefly ended too soon instead of dragging on forever, so it's a nice study in contrasts.
Well, that's true. Just earlier today, I was talking to some work colleagues of mine about shows that have been on TV too long, including The Simpsons, which came up, and it was just ground into the earth that now the idea of the show just annoys the crap out of me, even though I still have a soft spot for it. And I'm like, you just take it out to pasture. It's old. Just shoot it. It's fine. Let's just get this over with, This show definitely did not have that problem. So
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really surprising to me how big the fandom for this show is, especially after it's 13 episodes. The first episode was a two-parter, so 14-ish. I don't know. But they actually only aired 10 episodes of the show, so it's not even the full thing. And honestly, also the way they aired the episodes just to me doesn't make any sense because
The
they did
show
not
never had a shot. The network just shot it in both feet and then laughed at it for limping. It was a mess.
It really was.
And because it's not on a streaming service to which I have access. So I went old school and busted out the DVDs, but which, was kind of charming in its way. But also it really grinds my gears because the home entertainment rights are also still owned by the same network. So they have made absolute just bucketfuls of cash on this thing that they destroyed for no reason.
For no reason. Yeah, exactly.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Not even once.
The fandom I think really grew out of the DVDs because people could actually watch it in order, and so there was enough interest in the concept of the show that word of mouth was able to spread a little bit, and that was when DVDs were the whatever the equivalent today is of binging shows, right? It was the first time you could put an entire show into a single or a entire season of a show into one box, because VHSs you could get 6 episodes on a in a set or something.
Space commitment.
Exactly. It's so true.
Yeah. When the first episode I ever saw, it was when it was actually airing on television. My roommates at the time were watching it. Hi, Eric. And it was the episode with the flashbacks to baby Zac Efron, Little Simon and River.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, coming into the living room and they were like, "Oh, this is that show we were telling you about, the space western." And then I watched a couple scenes and I was like, "Well, you guys are out of your mind." And then again, it's I don't know what this is, but it's weird and I hate it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah. That did not take, obviously. Yeah. No, I did not see the show while it was on air. It was just on air such a short time. I just missed it. But shortly after, it was one of those things where you hear, Firefly, did you see Firefly? And I was like, what the fuck is Firefly? Then went and watched it, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good. Then the DVDs came out, and then I bought them, and I was like, oh, there's more to this And then the movie came out. I was like, what? You know, it was great. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally crazy that a show that was kneecapped that badly somehow got a movie deal, which like it.
But they kneecapped that too. It was a 3-movie deal, and they had all the scripts written, and then they were like, "Yeah, but actually, just smush that into one movie." But I'm shaking my fist for everyone who can't see me. My rage is small but mighty.
Yeah, stop making like big, long, like Hobbit movies and make more Serenity movies. That would be super. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
But I do think that part of why it's so good is that it didn't linger long enough to get bad. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like it like if it had gone Lost or Game of Thrones or whatever, like it, I don't know. I feel like part of it is because so many of the episodes are like, it's because it's got such a short run, but it's got like so many of the episodes are great and the characters are solid that I don't know.
I don't know though. I think one of the things that Joss Whedon does really well is create characters, and it's the same way I feel about Supernatural actually, where like the characters are drawn like so well and so strongly that people just like get very, very attached, so that when the writer's room has like a banana pants day and is like, we threw this at the wall and it's stuck, so I guess we're doing this like stupid, you know, whatever, karaoke on roller skates plot line that makes no sense in any universe. People are just like, well, everyone's reacting how I think they should be reacting, so I'm still into this. Like, I love this character, so if they're going along with it, I guess I'm along for the ride. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he creates characters that are real people and then never forgets who the characters are either.
Yeah.
So in all situations, you're just like, that's correct. That's the way they would respond. And you're just like, it still makes you feel like they're real people and like that you can meet, you know?
Yeah, their reactions make sense even when the context doesn't, and you can sort of gloss over the really not. Because, like, the plot line of Serenity is a little, well, a lot of things, but it's not super awesome.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. Like, I was watching it and I was like, oh yeah. But at the same time, like, I don't think it went too crazy or too stupid. It stayed within the confines of the show that was already on. They just made it slightly bigger. Not even that much bigger than their other stuff. Just slightly bigger. And I was like, this is good.
Why it didn't really do it for me, because it was just like an episode with a higher budget. But like, I don't know. All the stuff that they were kind of supposed to wrap up didn't really get wrapped up unless somebody got murdered. And then
that's like, how it goes, yeah.
I didn't need the same plot as an episode. I needed you to like tie together all those threads that you guys left dangling when you got canceled. So,
well, I have a feeling some of those threads would have gotten like, you know, fixed up if they actually did the 3 movies.
Well,
you know
exactly. What I mean? In case you haven't noticed by now, I am not a fan of Serenity. Although I was so traumatized by the deaths in it the first time around that I actually thought that fewer people survived. I was like, oh, did they all live through it? Huh. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, I got beef with that movie.
yeah, and I think that's like I actually have no problem with the movie. I actually think the movie is done in such a way that if you didn't watch the TV show, yes, there would be a little bit of confusion in certain points, but you will get it, right? Because they open the movie with Simon saving River. They bring them back to the ship. You get introduced to everybody again within the movie, and then they go on an adventure and a thing happens.
Yeah.
So even if you're unfamiliar with the TV show, you still get it. But if you're familiar with the TV show, there's all of these little things in it that you're just like, oh, I remember that, and oh, I remember that. Oh, this is from when they did this thing, and oh, you know, like there's a payoff for being a fan of the show.
Oh yeah. The exposition doesn't clunk as hard as I expected it to.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, I did feel a little bit some of the like kind of 1 or 2 line summaries where they're clearly trying to be like, this is who this character is in case for some reason you don't know. Like there was some clunkiness there, but just to go back to your point about the characters, like the characters really did, you know, pretty much stay true from a show to a movie, and then adding in the nameless agent as the villain is just like such an awesome extra character that I really like the movie. Like it didn't give me everything I wanted, but like it was a nice like fan movie for me. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it as much this time around as I did at the beginning. Also, I mean, I watched like 8 hours of CNN yesterday and then sat down and watched Serenity, so it wasn't exactly the palate cleanser I needed in the moment either.
No, it would not have been. Not at all.
I mean, I prefer my violence more stylized, so it had that going, but...
It had that going for it, at least, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So wait, before we go too deep into the movie, let's talk a little bit about like the actual like show that was put out there. One thing I realized about the show, I haven't actually watched any of the show in probably about 10 years or so. Like I haven't watched like any of it. I've watched the movie quite a few times, but not the TV show. And one of the things I noticed right off the bat was the pacing from the movie to the show is completely different. The show is very, very slow to me. But also it is the first season of a show, and they were clearly trying to build something on top of it. And if they were allowed to, I think the pacing of the show would have caught up. But what did you guys think about like the actual show itself?
I can't be objective about it. It just like I watched it when it was like at such a formative point in my life that I just like I love it to bits. I love the whole universe. I love the thing. Like I'm aware of its or some of its many flaws, including the weird choice to have this like Chinese language merged in, but then not to have any Asian characters.
Yes, which I always thought was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's just I really like it. I like the slow, deliberate pacing of the two-parter opening. I love the like kind of bouncing back and forth between like not like realism, but like nods to like a more lived in universe than Star Trek or something, but then also to have like wacky villains like Nishka, and so like I just I like a lot of it.
Yeah, there's something I guess because it's done in a Western style, it's a very familiar place, I guess, for a lot of people. It's a world you kind of understand. Like they're outlaws, everything's wild and free out there, and you can get shot today. You living in the dirt. Like people get that kind of thing and it's just got a few spaceships sprinkled in there every once in a while, and you're like, okay, this is fine, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of Westerns, and I'm like pretty picky about sci-fi, but somehow. Again, it's the character thing for me. If I like a character, then I'm sunk. And I just like, even right from the beginning, like, I actually really like the pacing of the show. I say like it leaves a room for people to do things that they wouldn't if there was more sort of action or like a faster pace of it. But
No, well, I mean, I don't even think the show needs more action per se. I just found a lot of scenes it's not even like, I think because the show was a little low budget, and when it was like one of those like scenery eating shots where it's like somebody just staring into the distance and then they showed the distance and you're just like, there's nothing there. And I know it's in a barren world on barren planets on average, and it was just like, I was like, why are we staring at nothing for 2 minutes? I'm confused. So
yeah, it's a Western. What are you talking about? that's what they do.
That's funny because that's something that grinds my gears in Westerns, but somehow I guess space gives it a pass for me. I don't know.
You're like, it's not Earth. It's a different world. Of course it's fantastic. You're just like, it's a desert, guys. It's fine. Yeah. But like overall, it's not. I still like the show. I understand why people like the show. And as I watch the episodes, like I watch them in order of the DVD set, so like how it should have been on air. And what I realized is it makes so much more sense when you watch it that way, A, and B, the progression of this show is a lot more obvious. Like, yeah, the first episode is a little slow. You're introducing characters, blah, blah, blah. But by the last episode, you're like, they've got a good banter. You understand who the characters are. There's a good pace to it. Like, it's getting up there. This show is going to do something. And it just didn't get there.
Yeah. And I also like in the first episode where they like, even though he's in the opening credits, they like try to play it like Simon is going to be the villain somehow, and like which obviously as soon as you've seen the second episode, you know is not the case. But like it's just I don't know. It was a fun idea.
It's true.
It reminds me a little bit of like T2, where like at the very beginning, like, I mean, in all the marketing material, you already know that Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be a good Terminator this time, but like they play it straight for a little while that this crazy killer robot's back, and so like if you theoretically don't know what's happening, like they shoot him with going back to Simon, he's shot like a villain, and they play the mysterious villain music whenever he's looking, and he's like
styled like a villain the whole time. Even he's not, like, his whole wardrobe is just like pure mustache.
It's like exactly. A mock neck jacket and black silk or whatever. You're like, that's a villain. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Then they open up the crate and it's like, there's a naked girl in there. Like, what? And of course, as soon as that happens, they're just like, did you buy her? What are you going to do with her? And then it sort of also gives like a creepy understanding of the world they're living in as well. You're like, yeah, they're upset about it, but you're like, yeah, he probably just bought her. And I'm like, why is that the first thing that's popping into your head?
They're smugglers. Of course, they'd be familiar with human trafficking, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they go more for goats or cows or whatever, happily, but
wobbly-headed dolls.
Yes.
Yeah, that first scene where River wakes up is amazing.
It's really good.
They did such a good job casting Summer Glau in that, because this was her first ever acting gig, right? Like, she was just a dancer before that, and it's like, yep, that is exactly what you needed.
And she did a great job. One thing I realized about the character, though, she literally does nothing for like 6 episodes.
Yeah,
like nothing. And then the quote unquote crazy starts coming out slowly, and you're just like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Well, makes sense. I mean, she's basically just a chess piece until she starts self-actualizing. And then it's a whole different deal, but...
So, like, is there, like, a favorite episode you guys have, or...
It's tough. I think I like most of the episodes. Like, I always like just the pilot. I also like Out of Gas with all the flashbacks to how they all joined.
I'm a big fan of that.
That's a good one. Yeah,
I
really like that one.
Where Zoe meets Wash, and it's just like,
yep,
I don't like.
He's got a mustache.
That mustache is so horrible.
Yeah. And then I also I really like War Stories, which is the one where Wash subs in for Zoe because they're. Yeah, they get tortured, and then he gets all mad because he's like, "What right do you have to put my wife in this kind of danger?" It's just, yeah.
I love that episode because they actually address the weird dynamic, like, head on, and also sideways, but like, because that is like one of the weirdest interpersonal relationships in a crew full of weird interpersonal relationships.
Yeah,
that's the thing, right?
I appreciate that they were just like, no, we're not gonna like make this a weird lingering thing that's scheduled to like cause a sad fight in season 6. They're just like, this is weird, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, but it's true if you think about like how, like, I kind of understand Zoe's like following Mal, like the way she does, like I kind of get it, but at the same time, like, it's just so excessively intense, and it's not military anymore, and you're married, and shouldn't your loyalties kind of shift over a little bit more instead of less and stuff like that? So like I totally understood where Wash was coming from, because I'd be pissed off about it too.
I mean, I
Well,
get
and
it.
it's tough to
Well, to the
not threatened by Nathan Fillion, right? So
Well, it's true. It's true. They say you could never take a bad picture of him, and I kind of agree with that.
Ugh. Yeah, that seems very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sort of makes sense because, like, I mean, Mal pretends to be, a stone cold badass, but no portion of that is actually true.
He's such a softie. It's so weird.
He's a complete soft touch. It's hilarious, and he I don't know. I mean, he's like his goal is to keep the ship and the crew safe. So, like, why would his priorities and Zoe's priorities are the same in that respect, right?
Yeah.
And like, Wash is part of the crew. Like, obviously, she wants to protect him, and obviously, of the two of them, she's the one doing the protecting, not the other way around.
That is true. She definitely wears the pants mainly.
Oh my god, she's so kick-ass. I mean,
She really is.
Torres in general, but I like extra special love her as Zoe. Like,
Well, I mean, honestly, the first time I saw her, it was in Xena. She played a character in Xena. I loved her from that point on. And every time she's in anything, I'm just like, you are amazing. Please keep being who you are. Like, that's all I can think of every single time.
she's just spectacular. She's such a good actor. Her storyline on Hannibal like broke me as a person. I have literally like been rewatching and like skipped the episode because I'm like, I just don't have it in me. My heartstrings are tired. Please don't.
Oh, no.
Like, she's just so like, yeah, she's such a talented actor, and then also she just like kicks ass because why would she take a role where she didn't? That seems silly.
Well, exactly, right? I must admit, as you know, I have not watched Hannibal. I can't bring myself around to do it. So, and it has nothing to do with the actual show content. It has to do with a lot of the sound in the show. It drives me crazy.
It is a visceral experience. There's no question about that.
It really is. I mean, it's not like I said, it's not like I didn't try. That's how I know why I can't watch it. But yeah, I've thought about giving it a retry, and I'm like,
if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's one of those shows that like, if it was just like slightly off what you were interested in, it would be so easy to hate the hell out of it. Like, it's no.
Yeah, but the show has so many actors that I like in it that I want to watch it. It's got Gina Torres, it's got Gillian Anderson, it's got isn't Lawrence Fishburne in the show?
Yeah. Plays Lawrence Fishburne's wife. They like so. Yeah, which makes their crazy storyline like even more intense because they're acting this like sort of tragic arc, and they are in real life married to each other, and it must have been just like.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, Gina Torres and Lawrence Fishburne are actually married to each other?
Yeah.
What?
They were. I don't.
What?
Split up. Yeah.
What?
Am I crazy or are you crazy? They're totally married to each other.
I might be crazy, and that is fine. This is just information that is just blowing my mind right now. That's all I have to say about it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know what is correct or not.
Wikipedia confirms they were married in 2002, divorced in 2018.
Oh no! Now I'm sad.
Was that why she was in The Matrix? Maybe that's why she was in The Matrix. Actually, no, she's just great, so she could have done it on her own.
Okay, well, okay, well, I did not know that they had subsequently divorced, but yes, when they were acting opposite each other on Hannibal, they were very much still married to each other.
Yeah, and it's really tragic. Especially, it's interesting because in the books, the character she's playing is just like never seen, and she's just like this figure in the background that like she's already in a coma by the time the book starts. So it's just like, it's really interesting that they like built that character out, and then like and just the emotions that she's able to deal with in a really heartbreaking situation. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't about Hannibal. This is about, we're supposed to be talking about Firefly.
Tragically, Tracy does not have Hannibal on her shelf, so we'll.
I do not. No, for clear reasons. Clear reasons.
Sure.
It's fine.
But anyway, whatever. The thesis of this whole thing is that Gina Torres kicks ass. So.
Yes, agreed.
We all agree on that. There's no doubt about it.
There's no second opinion on that. It's just a fact.
Well, even like the whole cast of the show is just filled with amazing people. Like, of course, Nathan Fillion. This is a show where I was introduced to him and Alan Tudyk, actually. And then since then, they've just been great. I don't know.
Have you watched any of Nathan Fillion's new show?
The Rookie?
I think it's in the third season.
It's in the third season, and I have watched a lot of it, yes.
Oh, I watched some of it. I watched like half of the first season, then I got distracted by
It's a classic procedural. Like it's not anything that new. It's definitely built on a structure that we've seen tons and tons of times with like a police rookie coming in and learning the ropes and blah blah blah. That's what's going on in there, and then they throw in some side things in it. I mean,
right. I love procedurals. It's like it's just a thing. I don't whatever. If I had guilty pleasures, they would be mine, but I'm not guilty about it. I just really love procedurals. But that one makes me laugh because Nathan, like, how old is Nathan Fillion now? He's probably like in his early 50s or something.
Yeah.
And he's still like the charming scamp who's like a little bit of a fish out of water, like marauding through and I'm just like, how come? I was like, I read the premise and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, you are a grown-ass man. There is no way this is going to fly. And then I watched like 3 episodes and I was like, oh, no, it's flying.
It works. It works, exactly. Well, part of the whole thing is that he's like the oldest rookie, so his age is a part of the like quote-unquote joke of the show. But like overall, I think because he's charming and then they actually make the cast around him, they're pretty good at what they do. Like they're good at feeding off of him and the stories that are in there, and it's like it's really working. And I just think Nathan Fillion, just in anything he does, is good. So you can't.
He's got it. Like he can just do that, and it works even when by all rights it should be a mess. But
like I watched the fuck out of I watched all of that,
and I came back to it a couple years later and was like, dang it, I love this show. That's frustrating.
It's so true. Like when I first started watching that show, I thought it was going to be the stupidest thing. I was like, why are you doing this? You're just ruining everything for yourself. Then I watched the show and I was just like, damn it, it's good.
Oh. yeah. Like I can't imagine who else they could have cast as Mal to not be a mess. Like 1 ounce less natural charisma and it would have just been like, what the heck are you idiots doing?
Yeah, it wouldn't have made any sense because especially the way the character is, it's like he goes from levity to like serious like anger and like emotional trauma and all that kind of stuff in like the flip of a switch. And the way he plays it works really well with Mal, like the way Nathan Fillion does it. But I think if somebody else or somebody who doesn't have that charm factor, it would never work because you're just like, oh, you're a dick. Like that's all it would come across as.
Yeah, no, he walks that line really well. I was surprised rewatching the show because I've always been really disappointed that they didn't like get more into the Mal and Inara thing. They actually, despite its nonsense, kind of ship it. But I also kind of, based on sort of what I remembered and like how I've always felt about it, I expected there to be more there, but it's like it's such like small interactions and like just tiny bits of dialogue and all that, but yet somehow, and also sometimes he's awful to her, but in a way that you can kind of see why she's not just like booting him out the airlock.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like stuff under the surface that like if you just read the dialogue on the page, it would be like, oh, like not all men, but definitely this fucking guy. But like, but somehow like the way that it's played is like, then the way she reacts and stuff is like, okay, no, this is like an interesting dynamic that you guys are working out kind of awkwardly. Like,
yeah, and I think
they have really good chemistry. So.
I was gonna say I attribute that more to the actors than to the writers for sure, because like on the page they like that must have been just grim, a lot of it.
Yeah, I think if I just read the script for the show, I would have been like, why are these two people in love with each other? This doesn't make any sense.
You don't like each other. What are you doing?
Yeah, but it does play off as like, you know, one of those like childish, I have a crush on you, so I'm going to be a little mean so you pay attention to me kind of like stupidness. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Which I know isn't right. Because it's one of those things where, because you're like, oh, is he being mean to you? It's just because he likes you. That's not a thing we want to teach little girls anymore.
Let's not model that
ever. But in this case, in this show, I think they're like as you see how the ship is, and the episode where it shows how they met each other, I think their fighting comes from their not wanting to cross a line. So they fight each other just to be like, this is why nothing's happening, you know? So they have a reason.
Like Mal is obviously like very, well, he's pretty like, the lad could use some therapy on a variety, I guess. Is what I was trying to say. And like he does push people away. Like it's not just her. Like his defense mechanisms have defense mechanisms, right? So and she, you know, he doesn't trust her because first of all, you know, he's like vulnerable to her inherently, but then also she's like trained in human behavior and manipulation to a certain degree. So he just like has to keep like throwing up walls, but also she's trained in human behavior. She knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he says like snotty shit to her about being a whore or whatever, she's just like, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she takes it the way that it is, not the way that it's intended, I guess. So it kind of works. I mean, if you tried that on TV today, you'd get launched off the planet by the internet. But I feel like, you know, it didn't age as badly as I expected.
True. Yeah.
That's true.
The show in general didn't actually. There's not a lot in there that's like, okay, yeah, no, not anymore. Some stuff for sure.
Well, I think that has to do with the fact that they were very, how do I put this? They were very deliberate in the type of language they used in the show. Because despite the fact that it's very clear English, the English is used in a slightly different way. Also, they have different slang and all that kind of stuff. And because it takes place in a quote-unquote different time period, their understanding of the world and stuff like that is slightly different than ours. So they were able to get away with certain things in a certain way without actually crossing lines that are present in the modern day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, all the cursing in Chinese makes me happy, but
yeah. Well, and it doesn't, like with a lot of sci-fi and stuff, it doesn't date it as much because they're not trying to be ripped from the headlines or trying to be like a popular kind of
all old school anyway, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what Joss Whedon's obsession with getting the word quim past the censors is, because like I thought that I didn't realize that this was also in Firefly, because there was that whole thing about him being excited that he managed to call Black Widow a cunt in the Avengers, and it's like, man, you are a very small person. Like, I don't know why you thought that was a good idea, but it wasn't.
Well, I think it's fun that Joss Whedon clearly enjoys language in a certain way. I mean, when you have a show where you can just, you know, randomly use recompense for no reason, I mean, you're having fun with words, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, this was one of the things I kind of made a note to talk about because, I mean, whatever. Joss Whedon is problematic on a variety of fronts. We know this. We don't need to get into it. But I love so much of his work so much. And it's always hilarious to me when I watch something again, because like I watched all of this stuff like, you know, back in the day, and I don't watch it regularly or anything like that, but every time I watch like Buffy or Angel or Firefly, any of that stuff, I'm like, oh, right. My language and vocabulary was really shaped by this man in some fashion. Like, I hear stuff and I'm like, oh, is that where I got that? It's one of the first episodes when Mal does some, I can't remember the exact context, but like Mal has some terrible plan and Zoe steps up behind him and is like, oh yeah, this is going to go great. I say that all the time. Yeah. And I didn't realize that was why.
It just drills into your brain at this point.
Even when it's not like a bizarre, like very structured, you know, different language that like this, like even just Buffy where it was just teenagers doing their teenage thing. Like, yeah, he has very distinct speech patterns that like really just got their hooks in my brain and I'm never getting rid of them. So it's always eye-opening.
I actually think this is the first Joss Whedon show that I actually liked, to be honest. I did not like Buffy, so I did not like the show. I know. I've had to give up many nerd cards for having to admit that to people. They're just like, how are you a nerd without this stuff?
Though, like, did you watch beyond the first season of Buffy?
My friends were very obsessed with the show. They regularly tried to get me to watch episodes throughout the run of both shows. I was like, no, this is not working for me.
No, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I love it, but also much of it is rough going.
Yeah.
Leah started watching it with me at one point when we were still roommates, and we only got to like season 4, I think, just whatever time. But I remember like in the first season, her just like sort of side-eyeing me, and I was like, listen, it was a mid-season replacement and kind of an emergency. I swear we'll get to the good stuff at some point. And then there's the episode where they're bunch of teenagers are possessed by hyena spirits, and she was like, oh, I was expecting different kind of good stuff. Okay, here we go.
I'm sorry, hyena spirits?
Yeah,
like as in
to the zoo, and then they become this like weird pack of red-eyed teenagers who eat each other. I don't know, it's a whole mess. But again, I say mid-season replacement. So
I mean, I'm looking at like he's surprisingly directed few things. And out of the stuff he's directed, of course, there's Firefly, there's Dr. Horrible, which was great. The 2 Avengers movies. Well, the second one was
one of those was
one of those was good. The other one, there's a lot of shrugging going on with that other one.
And a lot of exposition happened in the second one, which was important to the series.
Much Ado About Nothing, the one that had Keanu Reeves in it. Great movie. Just saying, it's great.
Oh.
Gotta watch that one. Yes. I think it's that one.
I don't think it's that one. I think he put together a movie of his friends doing Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the wrong one. Sorry, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that one is Kenneth Branagh is the one I'm thinking of. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, that's the Keanu. No. Joss Whedon has, like, weird barbecues where they do Shakespeare on the picnic table or whatever.
Oh, yeah, this one, it actually has, like, Nathan Fillion, Clark Gregg, and Sean Mayer in it. Like,
yeah, it's the,
all his friends, yeah.
I mean, I guess, like, if you can, why wouldn't you? But also.
I know. It'd be fun. Yeah, and he did the opening of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was brutal. Anyways, well, because
for content, so I was like really I was like running on a little treadmill of trying to be super into it until like most of the way through the first season when I finally was like, okay, now we can just walk along.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The first season of the show, like 3/4 of it was just waiting for Winter Soldier to come out. And then they're like, oh, now we can do stuff.
Yeah.
And then they did some stuff. And then they're like, oh, we can't have anybody from the movies in their show. Then we're going to get weird. And then they did a bunch of weird time travel stuff. And you're just like, you lost me. This makes no sense.
Yeah. I was like, I went from like just excited about the show and hoping for the best to like obsessed with the show to just like, I forgot to watch any more of it.
Yes.
Like a really fast arc.
I must admit, I did watch the last season. I was lost because I didn't watch the 2 previous seasons. And I was just like,
make weird watching choices sometimes.
I do, but I needed to like finish the show, quote unquote. And so I went back to it. And I was like, all right, sure. But it was surprisingly easy to follow. I was like, oh, is that what you're doing? Gotcha. Watched it. I was like, I didn't need to waste my time on this.
I am super not into time travel in basically any context. It's just not my jam. I don't know. Makes me mad more often than anything.
Why do you think that is, though?
I don't know, because it's not like suspension of disbelief is a problem that I have, especially. But I don't. I mean, it often doesn't make sense, which makes me mad. Or or they work too hard to make it make sense, so it makes everything kind of clunk. Or they violate their own rules, which makes me like, as long as there's internal consistency, I'm fine. But when there isn't, I get mad. Endgame, and
Look, you give the Avengers all of the passes all of the time, please.
No, you know what? I haven't seen Endgame again since you and I saw it together. I'm so mad about the way they ended Captain America's storyline that like I've basically tapped out of Marvel.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Serious.
Like,
wow.
Like they killed it. They killed it I mean, I will watch Falcon and Winter Soldier when it comes up on Disney Plus. But like, I don't know if I'm in for any of the rest of it. I'll probably watch Black Widow, but like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness can suck a dick. I don't care.
It looks great. What are you talking about?
I haven't even seen trailers or whatever because I don't care.
I saw a poster and it was awesome. I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Well, there's a lot of time fuckery in Doctor Strange too, which again, as we just are in the middle of discussing, displeases me on some like weird fundamental level I can't obviously all the way explain, but
yeah. But isn't the whole Loki show based on time travel as well?
Oh, add another thing to the list of stuff I don't care about.
Oh, there's another. They're making a Loki show, like
Yeah,
a
he's
Loki
gonna have a Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
But I've never like I haven't been obsessed with Loki like everyone else either. Like he was never really my guy. I don't know. I mean, it's funny when the Hulk smashes him all over the penthouse, but like
yeah. What can I say? I'm gonna give it all a try. I can't help it.
I mean, I probably will end up watching it just because I'm a sucker, but like I'm not really into it like I was into it, basically. I
got you.
And you were really into it.
I was obsessed. I was a crazy person. And
she was.
Yeah, Tracy got to really like the full show of me fucking sobbing into my scarf like a maniac after Endgame. And then I like got past my fit of feelings and really thought about it for a minute and was like, oh wait, I hate this.
What have they done to me?
Yeah, so anyway, this is not about the Avengers, but that's the update.
Well, okay, so Mike, what do you think about time travel used as a like a genre or like a gimmick or like what do you think about time travel in general?
It's not in Firefly, so therefore I don't care. No, I'm kidding. No, I think it's really easy to do it badly, and often it's like a crutch or something. So like I'm more okay with it when it's the entire purpose of the movie, even if it or story or whatever it happens to be, even if it doesn't really make sense. Like I like Looper. And then there's like what's that weird indie one? I think it's called Primer, where they've got it's like, anyway, I like that movie. It's just super low budget, two guys messing around with a time machine, and then it gets really, really weird. But it's so yeah, it can be good, but it's really good to do it badly.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing with time travel is that when they use it as like a we can't figure out how to end this story, so time travel, that pisses me off. And that's one of the reasons why Endgame kind of really annoys me, but I still kind of enjoy the movie, is because it was kind of like at the end, they're just like, what if we did time travel to fix everything that we've done that's impossible to fix? Time travel. See, that's where it upsets me, right? But when it comes to things like the Terminator, for example, where the whole concept is time travel and this is what we're doing and blah, 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 blah. And that's one of the reasons why Terminator 3, though a horrible movie, gets a pass for me, because at the end of that movie, that means they do it right. Like, it works for me. I enjoy time travel.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got their stuff, right? It's just, it's just something that I'm almost never I almost never feel better about having seen something that includes it. I guess you could say. As I said, I'm super picky about sci-fi type stuff anyway. Like that's not really my preferred genre. So it's just like, I'm already stretching and now there's this gimmick and I just,
Yeah, it can really easily mess with the stakes of your universe, right? Where like if it's possible to go back in time and fix stuff, then like what matters is drastically changes.
I don't care about stakes though. Like I watch Supernatural. I keep trying to explain to Austin that's like, oh yeah, I mean people die in this universe all the time, but it often doesn't take. Like
right.
I'm pretty sure the writers have an ongoing contest of like what new and bizarre way can we find to bring this favorite character back? Like
yeah.
Oh wait, have you watched the last season yet?
No.
Oh, God, okay.
I've been rewatching season 13, so now, I mean, it's dry January. I got some time on my hands.
Okay.
Maybe I'll time it so that I can start drinking again when I watch the finale.
Yeah.
Because we all know that's going to be
Yeah, I am expecting a text from you as soon as you watch the finale. You're like, I'm crying. Something. It's going to be great. I mean, great may be the wrong word, but yes, I think you'll like it anyways. It's fine.
It's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
All I can see in my head right now is Troy in Community going, my emotions.
Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be a significant allergic reaction to feelings on my part. far, but
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. Tying back to Firefly though, can we talk about Badger?
Yes.
Mark Shepherd, the little black dress of fandom.
So
I was like,
great.
Crowley? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so little and twinky in this. It makes me laugh. And that scene where River does the whole accent thing where she just like eats his lunch and then they're like, that is exactly the kind of diversion that we needed.
Yeah. So many
I love
great,
that. It's so
yeah. It's crazy that like in a show that only ran 13 episodes, that they are able to have these like recurring villains and recurring characters where they're like he could have so easily been a one shot, but like, oh, we got to bring him back for this other thing.
doesn't love Mark Shepherd. Crazy people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I'm recalling correctly, Joss Whedon originally himself planned to play Badger, and then they decided that wasn't going to work. So, which thank God, because it wouldn't have. And then they like hired Mark Shepherd to do it, but then somebody told him that his like first day on set, and he was just like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
So he was just like horribly intimidated by the whole affair.
But I bet you once he got on set and started acting, and Joss Whedon was like, "You're pretty good at playing an asshole. You're fine. Let's do this."
Yeah. No, he's great. He's so good in Leverage too.
Yeah. I can't see him in anything where I'm just like, he's doing something wrong. Beware, don't trust him. No matter what he's playing, I'm just like, he cannot be trusted. There's
Nope. He is 100% of the time a bad guy, and it's great.
It's great.
He's so stylish about it. I love it.
Yeah, he's awesome. And speaking of other people on the show, Alan Tudyk, like, what?
Yeah.
He's made such a huge career, not just on screen, but also as like a voice actor after doing this show. Like, it's been
Is he the
crazy.
chicken in Moana?
He is.
He is, yeah.
He's also in the starring role as the robots across from Will Smith in iRobot.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was looking back at his like filmography and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, he did that too? What?" Like, I just realized the other day he plays the bad guy in he does the voice of the bad guy in Star versus the Forces of Evil, and he's amazing in it. And there was another show that I was just like, "Oh my god, that's him!" And now I can't not hear it. That is him, which is weird as well.
I don't know that I've actually seen any like much of the stuff he's done voice acting for, because I don't watch a lot of animated stuff. But there's an episode of Criminal Minds where he plays a pedophile, and I spent the whole episode mad that they'd cast him as a pedophile.
Oh no!
Which is like a really dumb reaction to have. And like, obviously, I love Criminal Minds, and I've seen all manner of people do all manner of terrible stuff on it. But that one, it was just like, I don't like this. I don't like that you've done this. I didn't want to see this. I hate this.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about him, though. I think the reason why you don't like it is because he probably acted a really good job, and you're just like, you're coming across as a pedophile, and I don't like it.
Yeah, he was creepy as hell, and I was mad. I was like, you are supposed to be a good guy. What the hell are you doing? Get it together.
Yeah. I really don't think that's the first time he's played a bad guy, but you know.
He's a really good bad guy. It just like personally offended me because I'm a crazy person.
You're like, you can't be the bad guy. That's just so wrong.
About this, I'm crazy here, but
Yeah. Oh, he did the voice of Clayface and a few others in the Harley Quinn animated.
That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
It's Harley Quinn. Yeah. He does Clayface, Joker, Condiment King. Apparently he sings a song.
Yeah. Also, he plays Chaucer in The Knight's Tale, or
yes,
not.
that's the first time I ever saw him. That movie, visit that movie. It's a joy, a demented joy.
Or no, he's not Chaucer. He's somebody else. But yeah.
Sorry. He does 13 voices. 13 in Harley Quinn. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. He's a voice actor guy. He's so good.
He's so good.
Yeah. But also, tying it back to Marvel, Morena Baccarin in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love her. She's wonderful. I think those are the only two things I've ever seen her in, but she's like...
I honestly did not make the connection for the longest time that it was the same person. I think somebody brought it up to me and they're like, oh, she was in Firefly. And I'm like, no, she wasn't. You're crazy. And they're just like, yeah, she was, Inara.
I got super excited when I saw her in Deadpool because I've had a massive crush on her since the moment I laid eyes on her. So
yeah, me too. Again, like I said, a formative time in my life.
Yes.
That's like people with like pure examples of beauty. Like, oh god, she's stunning.
Yeah. Oh, she was also in Gotham. That's the other thing she was in.
Yes.
That.
But also, she's the only one who's like, looks like she's had a shower recently in the show regularly.
Grooming in the outfits are part of the picture. Also, her shuttle is so lovely. The interior design, I'm always just like, oh, it looks so lush. I just want to like lie on a pillow. Everything.
All the like curtains,
The deck of that show in general is wonderful. Like, there's so much going on. Some of those moments where people are just like staring into not literal space but figurative space. So I don't care what you're emoting at me right now. Like, what's going on in that cupboard in the back? Like,
it's true. Actually,
like inspecting piece of like weird, just like. Yeah.
Well, I think the reason that works for the TV show is that they kept, unless they're showing like a vista, they kept a lot of the shots really tight. So you have like a tight corner of like, and they just like shoved stuff in that corner, behind the person, I find. And, but like the stuff like they chose were really like telling about like the space they were in or like whose room they were in. Like Kaylee's room, for example, had like the lights on the front, and, like she had like all of the stuff that she's collected from going to different places and all that kind of stuff. But you have like Mal's room that was just like relatively bare, and it was just like a bunk and like a couple of things, but then you had like Wash's and Zoe's room that had like they had stuff, but not a lot of stuff, and it was clearly all Wash's stuff in there, not her stuff, like that kind of thing.
Like, you don't spend a lot of time in their room, and a lot of the time you do spend there in bed together, so pretty much all you see is sheets. Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And Jane with his whole wall of guns next to his bunk.
Yes.
They're under siege, and he like grabs the thing as a blanket.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's gonna pull out a gun, and he's back asleep. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I love after too that he complains about missing out all the action. I'm like, yeah, because you decided.
That was one of the things I liked actually about what they did with Book in Serenity was that I felt like in rewatching the show, it was so cool to see him in a space where he felt a lot more at ease and was like he had clearly become like a leader of a community, which is like where he belonged. So it was neat to see that where they come back to, whatever, they greet him and they're kind of like on equal footing or something, where it's like anyway, I thought that was a neat turn. Obviously it's sad when he dies, but
Yes.
Well, I mean, Mal too was treating him more like an equal instead of like quote unquote part of his crew, where like he trusted everybody on his ship and he saw them all as people, which is great, and he treated them how he thinks people should be treated, sure. But it was always like, never forget I'm captain and you are passengers on my ship, right? Whereas like when they went to Haven and they saw Book, it was just like, no, I'm a captain and you're a captain. We can talk on this certain level all of a sudden. I
really liked that conversation with them because it was the most natural they ever are around each other. Yeah, you can tell how much Mal respects him and stuff, which is neat.
Yeah.
I was really sad that we didn't get more of his backstory though. Like,
well, yeah, because
that's always part of the 3-movie deal, right? Like, because they just, they were walking us in then that direction, and then it was like, never mind, we'll just stab him. Fuck you, Johnny.
Nah, I don't mind that at all. I like that it's like left mysterious and heavily implied that he's one of the same agents, or he was, but like I was happy to have that like left.
I guess I didn't need to, like, I assume that you're correct about that, but it just, like, I more want to know how he ended up as a shepherd.
Yeah.
Or how he got disillusioned to become a shepherd.
Like, obviously, he was Alliance, and that's fine.
Right.
But But yeah,
And he was a very high level.
Would have been very interesting to me. And
yeah, because it was very clear that he was at least very, even if he wasn't one of those agents, like he was at least a very high level person in the Alliance. Because like that one episode where they go to the Alliance ship and he's been shot, they're like, swipe my card, and they're like, oh my god, help him immediately. That's not like, he wasn't a security guard or something.
No,
right?
no,
like he was somebody.
Right. But also he has all this specialized knowledge about like weapons and stuff like that. And but also he has the terrifying hair. That one episode where he has his hair untied and it freaks.
Freaks out. So, what's going on? Oh, I see.
Yeah. The whole like because you know for however many episodes I can't actually remember where in the order of episodes that happens, but like we've gotten enough spooky girl stuff by that point about River that we're like, oh, she's like probably a psychic or like probably like got all these weird powers. So just having her have this total freak out about something super mundane is just truly a delight.
Well, I think part of it too was to remind us that she's a child. Like she's I think during the show, I think she's 15 or 14. I think she's supposed to be. I know in the movie they say she's 17, but it's like, oh no, she's only been on the boat for 8 months in the movie. Never mind. So she would have been 17 or 16. But I think it's like that kind of thing is to remind us that she's a kid. Like that was like the main purpose of that. But also her psychosis makes her childlikeness also a little more elevated. Like another 16-year-old like, oh my god, what's wrong with your face? And walked away, would have been fine, right? But her being not completely there, it made her like run away. Like monster. Like
Yeah. Well, because Simon spent years trying to get her back, right? Like, so she was pretty young when she went to the academy or whatever.
Yeah. And they said he spent his whole fortune to get him out and everything. Whatever happened to their parents, for example? Because it's not really clear within the show or the movie. Yeah. Is that all it is?
Yeah. His parents disowned him. They said if he didn't drop it and go back to his work at the hospital, then they were done with him. When he gets arrested.
No, yeah, I remember that scene, but like I guess to me it wasn't clear that that's what actually happened or something else happened, because they say in the movie that he used his whole fortune to do it, but if his parents disowned him, he wouldn't have had any money. So like my thing is like maybe his parents died or he did something else, to get funds.
Well, he probably had like a trust or whatever, but he also spent several years working as a top surgeon in the Corps. So like he did have his own money as well.
That's true.
They did some retconning though, because I don't think he was supposed to know that she was psychic in the show, was he?
No, that was one of the
they made him a weird secret agent who has code words to make her sleep and all that shit. And I was kind of like, I see what you did there, and it was not.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of that was just like whatever, they had to get the story in efficiently. It was definitely retconning.
I see you, writers.
Yeah,
because well, I guess because when you watch everything back to back like this, I think those things like pick up. And because as soon as the movie started, I'm like, but he didn't know she was psychic. He didn't know they were doing tests on her. That's why they had to break into the hospital and get a brain scan. Remember, there was a whole thing about this. He's not supposed to have this information.
They spent a whole basically the entire series him slowly realizing, oh my god, they like cut into her brain, and then suddenly they put him in a room where she's literally like, hey, look, I'm putting a knife into her brain right now. Isn't that fun?
Exactly.
It's a little goofy.
It is a little goofy.
They also the fortune thing was also retcon, because then originally they said that he said all his accounts had been frozen by the Alliance.
Yeah.
That's why he was trying to figure things out, but I don't know, whatever. I really like the episode where they break into the hospital.
It's a great episode.
One of the really good ones, right? Then where he saves that person because the doctor gave him the wrong meds or whatever. He walks away and everyone's just like, what?
Yeah.
What did
Yeah, he
Yeah.
schools this doctor, be like, "What are you doing, you idiot?"
Yeah.
Like,
Down, everyone goes along with, and then he just like walks off, and they're all like, because usually that's the reaction to Mal, right?
yeah.
People are just like, what the hell just
Happened. Yeah.
Well,
ever, Simon?
and it's really awesome again to like go back to that character kind of through line we've been coming back to, which is that like that is the place where he feels capable. Like we've seen Simon be like bumbling and scared and like confused, or like try to be a guy who buys mud, or like whatever. But like, yeah, but like when he's in a hospital, it's like, oh, he's confident, he's knowledgeable, he's like capable. Like we see that other side of him based on the change of environment.
Yeah.
That's the real Simon, and everything else him trying to like figure out who his new self is.
Yeah, and what's funny in that scene is like he's like, damn right I saved this guy's life, and looking at the other doctor like he's an idiot, like what is wrong with you? And the other doctor, the only thing he's like, who are you exactly? Like because he doesn't have a foot to stand on, and then he realizes like after he's done all of this stuff, he's like, wait, I don't recognize you. Do you belong here? What's happening?
Yeah.
And how are you better at my job than I am? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Clearly something's going wrong here.
Of course.
I also really like that episode at the for the end where Jane, like he threatens to shoot him out the airlock. That's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he deserves it. But I think the funny thing is that Jane is more concerned about his reputation after he dies than anything else, because he's just like, well, don't tell them I double-crossed them, tell them something else happened. Like, oh
yeah,
okay. Like you prefer to be like, I tripped and fell out the airlock, compared to I ratted you out and then Mal had to take care of it.
Yeah, no, he's not very good at feelings, but he's trying.
He's trying, yeah.
Oh, Janestown. He has so many feelings in Janestown.
It's even more ridiculous than I remembered.
It is. Oh my god. When they start the little the song about him and everything, it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah. and there's definitely a reference to it in Serenity where because the story in Janestown is that like they were flying, and then Jane threw his partner out and then threw the box of money out. Mm-hmm. And then in Serenity, like Zoe's asking Mal why they didn't like drop the loot and take the running guy instead. So it's like they use the same kind of story to show a similar thing. But
well, actually, so speaking of that scene, one thing I found really interesting is that in the first episode, when they're leaving and they're running from Reavers, that sequence is very similar to the one that's in the movie. Is that just me or no? No,
I think that they were part of it's like fan service, part of it's like what you were saying before, like rewarding people for being fans, and then also just like to catch people up. They seem to have thought for some reason that people who didn't watch the show were going to watch this movie, and somehow we're trying to write, Some
people just see all blockbusters, right? So maybe, but yeah,
but it wasn't much of a. Well, I don't know. It underperformed.
It was a niche situation that they were treating like it wasn't. Which,
Yeah.
But I also think this is one of those movies that was also, if you didn't know about Firefly, it was advertised wrong, because you wouldn't be prepared for like the super Western side of it. Like you're going out there and you're like, oh, I'm watching a sci-fi movie and it takes place in space, but most of it is on land and them talking to people, and then they fight each other and there's a guy with a sword and you're just like, wait, what? It's one of those things.
The stuff with luring the Reavers is so cool, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That whole sequence is just like, oh man, you clever maniacs.
Yeah. Well, one thing I love about that scene is Chiwetel Ejiofor, like when they come through the cloud, and he's so smug in that scene, and he's just like, look at these idiots, they're not even changing course. And then the ships come through and he's just like, fire at the Reavers.
Fire.
Why is somebody firing?
Yeah, it's the only time really that he doesn't that he like breaks. Like even when he's being exploded by a flash bomb by Inara, right? like he's still that. Just like, what are you doing? Like, go continue. Like that one time he's just like totally freaks out.
He does freak out, yeah. And but yeah, no, I love that scene. That scene is fantastic. And then when you see Firefly going through like the battle and trying to avoid things, I am a leaf on the wind, watch me soar, and all that stuff. No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
You just call the ship Firefly?
Oh, sorry, it's Serenity. Oh my god. Yes, I know. Horrible.
Yeah.
No,
the one thing I didn't one choice I thought I didn't like, and I rewatching it I still don't like, is that they showed the Reavers. Like I thought that in the show where they just you never see an actual Reaver. Mm-hmm. I thought that was effective, and so it was a little disappointing to see them in the movie. Like
I think the whole point, because you got to the planet, because you don't really see them that well. Like you see like them come out the ship, but it's more kind of in like shadows and quick flashes until they get to the planet. They're like, no, these are people, and that's when you see them a lot more.
They demystify them, and then they demystify them.
Yeah,
but it's the at the beginning where they attack they're doing the payroll job, and like there's the three of them that are just like pulling the dude apart, or they're going to. Yeah, and I was just like it looks like kind of a bad zombie movie. Like it would have been. It was great that everybody freaks out. Mel is immediately like get everybody into the vault, all that stuff. So like emotionally the story's selling it, and then they're just like, they're kind of like fighting Uruk-hai or whatever from Lord of the Rings. They're not like some crazy
they're less
like otherworldly
sunlight than they are when they're just like a psychological horror.
Yeah, or even if they're like the faceless ship that's belching smoke and like has these weird like space tethers and stuff like that. That's also monstrous and weird. But yeah, I did notice that later in the movie there's this tiny little news thing you can overhear on the news, that the only survivors of the attack were the ones that were locked in the vault.
Did they actually
They circle back to that. Yeah,
I heard the news report, but I didn't actually I got distracted. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Mel.
You got to put all the details in there. Everything's good.
Yeah. And one choice that made me laugh is that, like, I know it was necessary to get the guy for the agent to live and all that jazz, but like Mal just keeps shooting him in his body armor.
Yeah.
And which would have already been like a little bit goofy, but then also that scene where the Reavers like get the thing through Jane's leg, and like in the middle of a moving airship battle, Mal manages to shoot a rope. Like,
but he can't shoot
a very good shot, and yet straight in the vest every time.
Yes.
Bro.
Yeah.
Fight or don't you?
Yeah. The first time it happens, it's hilarious, but then when you don't know he's wearing armor, it's just like, I am not an idiot. Yeah. But but yeah, afterwards it's kind of like, what are you doing, man?
They were too close together for me not to just be like,
right. Especially when, like, in the show, we see that he has zero compunction about like killing people.
He shoots people in the head on the regular. Like he's not.
Yeah.
And he's a quick draw. Like it just no second. Yeah.
And he kicks a guy into an engine that one time.
I love the second guy in that line. He's just like, no, I heard it all. I'll take the message and the money, no problem. He kills a lot of people. And
there's a lot more death in this show than I remembered. Not just like the movie, but like the overall show and stuff, because every single episode a bunch of people die for some reason. Like either there's like a standoff between like good and evil so they can shoot each other, or it's just like, oh, there's a plague and everybody's dead. You're like, oh, okay, let's do this is fun. Or like even with the whole Jamestown thing, like I think 3 or 4 people die in that one for, being obsessed with Jane. Like it's a weird thing overall.
Yeah. But I guess it makes sense, and it does kind of add to it really adds to the world building, because it is such a like people are much more cavalier about the way their lives are because they're basically like colonists, right? So
yeah, it's a free-for-all, and the law is too far out to make it to where they are, because they actually say that in a couple episodes, even with the beginning of the movie, like they're stealing from somewhere that they can't be bothered to come out, so here's a bunch of money and give it to the correct people. We're gonna steal that stuff because there's nobody here to protect it. Why not?
Yeah, it's a private whatever military contractor.
They'll never tell anyone their payroll got stolen. Also.
Yeah, I do think if I'm remembering correctly that that was either like the network notes or something, like it was part of the retooling after the pilot got picked up, that they wanted there to be a little bit more death, to be a little bit more cartoony with its violence and stuff. So like in the pilot, it's like they talk more about like, oh, she shot you that one time, and like it was a big deal and everybody knows about it. It's great, but like
a fuss.
right, but like by the end of the show, like no one can even remember how many people have shot Mel, right? Like it's not a big deal. Like it's not like this story that's happened, because it's like a because exactly what you say, like there's a lot more death and stuff like that. And I think that I like it. It's I like that part of the show as well, but I think like it was that, and then also I think Mel was originally going to be much more of like dour sobby guts, rather than like they made him a little bit more like they upped the lighthearted more. And
the levity is what makes it, right? Because otherwise be an asshole putting people's lives in danger recreationally, and like
but also if the levity wasn't there, it would be an extremely dark show based on the content of the episode.
Oh yeah, it's very dark in a lot of ways already, but I think the thing with people making a fuss about him getting shot, though, is that she's still alive afterwards.
Fair enough.
A lot of people have shot him, probably not many are around to
talk around it. Yeah,
as we have discussed, does not have a problem shooting people, and he shot a bunch of people when she tried to double cross him. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, and Mal gets the crap kicked out of him almost every episode too.
That's great.
Shot, loses an ear, gets stabbed. Like. It's crazy.
The one where he ends up naked is my second favorite. Where he's just like, oh yeah, it went fabulously, and the whole crew is like, oh no.
They're like, we're all looking at you in your eyes. Yes, we are. In your eyes,
Yeah,
and he just, especially he's just like so casual about it. He just like wanders into and everyone else is like, oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the only thing about the scene right before that I can think of, he's sitting naked on a rock in a desert. That rock would have been hot.
Okay? I also had that.
That's all.
So uncomfortable.
So yeah, that was my thought. But everything else was hilarious. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I'd be pretty proud too if Christina Hendricks had asked to see me naked, so.
Yeah, talk about another recurring character already in the first season. Like you would think that would have been like, season 2, she shows back up or something, or season 3, but you weren't getting there anyways. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, she's delightful. It's hilarious.
She is. She's really fantastic, especially like when she comes back and there's no like preamble where she's pretending to be, this innocent rube from a planet, and then she's just like full crazy, like weirdly petty thief.
Yeah. The funny thing, I was watching that first episode and I was like, the first half of it, I was sitting there going, wait, I thought she was a bad guy in this show, And I was like, what's happening? I was like, oh yeah, here it is. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. The second episode came back, and I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Yeah.
The scene with her and Inara in the first one is great, where they're like having that whole total bullshit conversation on both sides, and then
Yeah, and Inara like calls her on it, and she's like, "You're really good. Where were you trained?" And then she gets knocked out.
Yeah. Speaking of like language that imprinted into my brain for like from Joss Whedon, that's the episode with the special hell, which
Yes. Yes.
I know so many people
Cackling
use
when
the
I
term special hell. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that came from. Gotcha.
Including Supernatural.
Yeah. It's great.
It's all
good. Well, I guess we've come back to the movie. I gotta say, like we said at the beginning, I still like this movie. I think this movie was great.
I liked it a lot better this time around. I still have with it, but like, I wouldn't be me if that weren't the case, I suppose.
I mean, it's definitely got flaws, but it's I actually watched it before I watched all the episodes, just to prepare for the podcast, because I had done most of a rewatch of the show. I think just after the first season of Mandalorian came out, because Space Western.
Yeah.
So I started with the movie, and then it was a little bit more like, hey, remember all these characters like that you love? So it was a little bit. I was more forgiving of it, I think, as well, because it's like it was more of like a return instead of like show, and then here's a bunch of retcons.
Well, I really think that's what the movie was about at the time. It's exactly the same way you're experiencing it now. We had a show. It finished like 2 years ago. It didn't last very long, but people have been asking us to wrap up some of these storylines. Here's a movie. And do you remember all of these people? There you go.
Yeah. They really should have given Kaylee more of a part.
Yeah, she doesn't really do that much in there.
And everything she does pretty much is related to Simon.
Yeah, which is kind of sad.
But they do get to bang, which is good.
I mean, I'm pleased for her, but like, yeah, because I don't know, like, Mal and Nara have like so little actual relationship, and I was like completely hooked and shipped it. And then Kaylee and Simon, I was just like, this festival of awkward failure is not for me.
Well, that's the thing. Throughout the whole show, he just says such like stupid things where she's like, oh, you're pretty, you're this, and he's like, well, you're the only person on the ship who's not married and stuff, so yeah, of course I like you. And you're just like, that's not a compliment. What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
it's all very weird.
I mean, he's an awkward dork of a dude, and he was being an awkward dork trying to tell a joke, and I get it, but also I hate it. Shut up.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I think, I watched the show, and I'm like, Kaylee, you can do better than this. Just pick somebody else. It's fine.
I mean, there is nobody else, so fair.
There was a previous mechanic.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah. That's such a good scene, too.
Yeah.
It is.
Captain, why do you need two mechanics? Well, I don't.
Yeah. Just the awkward hi when she's buttoning her dress back up. She's just, hi.
She's, oh, man.
Yeah. But I also think that showed a lot of her character. Like, one of the reasons why, like, when you watch the show, so she meets Simon, and, like, automatically she's like, he's pretty. I should do that guy. And then there's also the episode where, Tracy shows up, the old war buddy. And you saw a dead body, and she's clearly enamored with this dead body already, which is really weird in the first place. And then when he gets up, it's like she's already hitting on him. I'm like, he's just a man, so you automatically fall in love. Like, this is a weird thing that you're doing because you've been obsessed with Simon the last little while. And as soon as another quote-unquote pretty face shows up, you're just like, I'm over it. Let's do this. It seemed kind of weird. So I kind of understand Kaylee's character doing that, but at the same time, that's probably why you didn't care for the shipping of her and Simon.
I don't know. I mean, if I'd been subject to Simon's awkward brand of nonsense for that long and some other eligible bachelor showed up, I would, like, bang him in front of Simon just to make a point, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sound probably is not dampened in that tiny submarine of a spaceship. So
Probably not.
They ignore that too. River hears every conference they have about her.
Yeah.
Like, she's lying on a grate. Do you think it has magical sound muffling powers?
Yeah, your ship is made of metal and full of holes. It's just one echoey mess.
Lock yourself on the bridge. Make sure they're asleep in their quarters, and you might have a snowball's chance. Otherwise,
Exactly.
But
she's
2001
also
Space Odyssey and go into the everybody get into the shower.
Yeah. But you also have to block the window so they can't read your lips. That's the problem. Yes.
But she's psychic, so I guess she's still probably.
It really doesn't matter. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know that a lot of the time. So.
No.
Not in the show. In the movie, they know she's psychic.
They do.
Yeah, but they also don't have secret conferences trying to talk about her so much.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. One thing about the movie though that I forgot about was like that opening scene where they actually talk about how all of them got out to where they are, like away from Earth. I forgot all about that whole scene. Like I remember the classroom part and all that kind of stuff, but like when the movie started, it was like, wait, is this an extended version? Like, what am I looking at? Like I was very like, oh yay, that's why they keep talking about like Earth of old. Like I know they're not on Earth, but why not on Earth? Did it explode? Like was there an alien invasion or whatever? I don't even know. But they're just like, no, got overpopulated and people just went out and we found a solar system and we're like, here you go. So I guess it was a good enough explanation. Sure, I'm gonna go with it. And the other thing I realized, I'm like, this show takes place 500 years in the future, but for some reason some of the technology seems like correct and a lot of the other technology seems so archaic that you're just like, really? Is this it? Okay. Just seems weird. I don't know.
The resources are a little different in the outer planets. Like none of those planets are as developed as
the inner planets, yeah.
Whatever.
Well, and older technologies, I think that like the idea is that some of the older technologies are just more rugged or more reliable if you don't have any infrastructure around it. Like, you know, it takes very little technology to repack like shotgun shells or something. But you know, to charge a laser, I don't know, thing, you don't have the correct like USB 12 adapter or something. You know, an Apple store you can go to.
Yeah. You need the new the dongle 85 for $600.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody has like a standalone GPS anymore, which is great till your phone battery kicks it because it's cold. Like
exactly. They're like, where's that compass? There it is. I can still go that way.
Right. Yeah. And I mean they do that a little bit in the pilot too, where it looks like it's gold bars, but really it's rations, it's food. Yeah. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, that first scene kind of threw me off guard because I was like, oh, they're stealing gold, okay, which is weird in the first place. You'd think they'd have something more interesting to steal, like maybe gold pressed latinum or something. It's fine. But no, you're like, oh, it's food that's so like, because it's Alliance food rations, and I think it's got like more nutrients or something than whatever they have. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's like vitamins and stuff. It's like it, instead of whatever gruel they probably eat, it has all of the well-rounded nutritional supplement.
Yeah. It's really sad that one story they talk about like the apples with like grenades stuck in it. You're just like, oh, that's dark.
Yeah.
Come on.
Three guys just end at the rib cage. It's such a great line.
But oh Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all happy. We're like, we have fresh fruit. And they're like, oh yeah, people died because of apples once. You're welcome. Like,
yeah. And that's why Wash goes all mad and toxic masculinity. He just like sabotages the ship and then gets into a sausage situation and gets tortured for it.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, he learned his lesson real quick. It's fine. He's just like, from now on, you're like, you do what you have to do. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just pilot this ship and nothing can ever go wrong.
Oh my god.
Great, though, like, yeah. And he obviously knows what Mal is doing, like pissing him off so he doesn't break and stuff. So
Yeah.
he obviously knows and adores and trusts Mal as well. He was just having a moment. Now he's having a really bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that whole Mal, when they explained to Zoe that it's like, Mal, I have to sleep with you, whatever. She's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. They're super awkward, like they're trying to pucker their lips, but they're like holding each other like a middle school dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who is it? Jane walks in and he's like, that's just not right. Just walks away, you know?
Yeah.
Everything about it was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was taken exactly as seriously
As it should have been, yeah.
moving along.
Look, they were under duress. That's why he said you can have it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've gone back to the show, not the movie now. It's fine. I'm okay. It's all on topic.
Yeah. Well, it's harder to separate when they're like threads end in the movie and whatever.
But yeah, no, it's just such a it's just a universe I like to be put back into. Like I start watching the show or the movie or any of it, and they just start like doing their dumb like semi-Western talking, like old-timey stuff, and I'm just like, and then there's like something like Blade Runner but funnier, where they've got like a food cart next to a giant sci-fi stuff, and it's like spaceships and like people selling like grilled meats, and I just it's nice. I really like the vibe of the whole show, and I like returning to the movie.
My thing is, for like that time period, like within this show, of course, is it Mandarin is the language they speak, or Chinese, or I don't know what's
I think it's intended to be Mandarin, but I obviously I don't know, but I have read that their pronunciation is wildly
incorrect.
Let's just say that maybe the language has evolved, or a pronunciation has in the intervening years and space travel.
Yes, I mean it is the future, and even with the English that they use different words. It's the same thing with this. We get it.
It's certainly not people just going with whatever and not really caring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But why do you think like they chose to have like another actual quote unquote actual language in there that almost everybody spoke? Like everybody seemed to be bilingual in this show. Everybody understood when somebody dropped into the other language. And but like that time period on TV and in movies and stuff always incorporated something from the Far East, which I thought was like, I don't understand why the obsession was there. Like, what do you think that could have come from?
Well, I mean, just the like enormously rapid growth of like the Chinese economy was just like blowing up, and it did look like they were going to be another superpower. And I mean, in some ways they're more so now, but in other ways they're stalling out. It's just like I think it's a little bit like the Japanese ascendancy in the 80s, where like everything was like Japan's going to take over the world, like the that kind of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, they choose to make the world different, but can't actually imagine it being all that different from ours all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like America is a world superpower, so is China. So like obviously those are the two that are going to continue to be 500 years in the future.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing. Like we mentioned this earlier. Like they have all this like Asian influence, but didn't really have any Asian people in it, except for I guess Summer Glau. Is she like? I'm assuming she's. Well, no, she was. She's a native of San Antonio, Texas. I don't know what her background is.
I don't think so. I don't think
so either.
Can we talk for a second about the thing that pops up when you search Serenity on Netflix and how she has just been like photoshopped into a different entity?
Wait, what?
when you watch Serenity on Netflix, when like the little like when it pops up to let you play it and it shows the picture, it's a picture of her like I guess she's supposed to be sort of posed like an assassin, but her face is like has just been photoshopped into Kardashian levels of unrecognizable.
Oh.
Like I actually
God.
looked at it and was like, wait a minute, is that actually Summer Glau under there? Like she's very weird looking.
It's this one, right?
No, it's
a different one?
There's a close it's just her. And
I literally just watched it on Netflix and I can't even
okay.
I can't even picture what poster they used.
It's not because you just showed me a photo of the whole cast. Sorry, people who can't see us. But
yeah.
It was just a picture of her. And it's she just looks like weird and this mess.
Oh. I have
like,
no idea.
Like
yeah, she's got that like halo of hair that makes it
and it sort of looks like somebody tried to like morph her face into some sort of cat face. I don't know. It's very bizarre. Striking young woman, and I don't know why they turned her into a odd-looking someone else.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to talk about the 2019 movie Serenity, which is not related to Firefly in any way, and is, by all accounts, very weird and bad.
I don't even know what movie that is.
Nope.
Matthew McConaughey is like a guy who might be in a video game world.
You've already lost me.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre.
Okay, so this is the description on IMDb. A fishing boat captain juggles facing his mysterious past and finding himself ensnarled in a reality where nothing is what it seems.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by all of this.
Movie, Serenity, 2019 movie.
Okay. I'm confused.
Yeah. I was like, that's not the movie I want at all. That doesn't have any Nathan Fillion. It doesn't have any, space westerns. It's highly disappointing.
Yeah, it's
gross.
Yep.
It has a little too
but
much Anne
they
Hathaway.
chose not to. Yeah, and they didn't show the Reavers, so I guess there's something.
There's something in there for you, yeah.
Yeah. It's a distinct lack of Reavers in that.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the movie. I enjoy it. I think it's like a proper update, but yeah, it is. But the thing is, the show it's still so clear that they had they were planning another movie or more of the series because there are so many like little bits of information like they drop in the movie as well. Yeah. And like all of these different lines are just not I don't know, storylines are not like finished. That you're just like they must have thought they were going to do more. And as you were saying, it was a 3-movie deal, and that's probably what they were trying to do, you know?
Sure. Although I'm not sad that we didn't see more of the doctors with the blue gloves. I felt like that was going to be a big storyline that I didn't want any part of.
Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I assume they were affiliated with the Blue Sun thing, and I don't know, but whatever. That was one of the things that I
just ordered a new Blue Sun shirt.
What was the story? And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. Like they were just a little too fake menacing. I don't know what the right term is, but I didn't feel like the writers had an idea for what really was. It might have been a Lost thing where they had a vague idea about a mystery, but not it wasn't like Book, even if they hadn't got everything fleshed out. I can imagine that in the writer's room somewhere they had a very clear Bible about what happened to him. Whereas I don't think they had the same thing with those blue.
They're probably
the Mad Magazine aesthetic didn't help.
Yeah. I think the thing with them, it was just no, it can't be the regular government that did it to them. It has to be somebody who's part of the government, but not part of the government. And we'll have them wear blue gloves and stuff. Oh, okay. And just throw them in the show every once in a while. It was just that kind of.
It was the deep state.
It was a Tuesday.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Yes.
Yeah. Have we said that we're recording this on January 7th, 2021? For all you people listening in the future?
Yes, keep that in mind and what we've been going through. Well, not really us, but, we've been paying attention to what's been happening.
Yeah, the world's weird.
The world's weird, yeah.
So I want to escape it to a place where you can ride a horse and fire a laser gun.
Yeah. I love the fact that the horse caught up to a hovercraft.
Yeah.
That, should have been going quite a bit faster, but that's just me. Whatever.
See, you can't rely on those things out on the rim. You can't rely on hovercraft. You have to rely on good old-fashioned horses.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I love that his fancy gun was like he shot 2 fires and it's like, check your battery. And you're just like, what? Okay,
yep.
fine.
Oh, man. That whole episode is bananas, but...
It really is. It's one of the episodes that did not air. And after watching it, I was like, I get why. Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, the bad guy is the yellow-eyed demon from Supernatural, and the Nandy is Lady Heather from CSI.
Yep.
Hello, friends.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
I know you.
Yeah, there was a couple of people in the show that I recognized from like really short-lived TV shows from back in the day that nobody remembers, and I'm like, why is it that like I see them and these are the things that I pick them out of? Like, this is weird, because like the guy who was like the bounty hunter in Objects in Space, that guy,
great episode.
Yeah, that's a great episode, but he was on a short-lived show called G versus E, which is like, it's about this this guy who dies and gets recruited to this thing, and it's like, you got to stop. It's good versus evil, blah, blah, blah. Every time I talk about this show, people are just like, you're a crazy person. That doesn't exist. It exists.
Yeah, it sounds like you made it up.
No, it's real. I tell you.
I believe I just don't need further information about it.
Yeah.
I have the entirety of the internet in front of me, but I'm choosing to believe that this was made up instead of verifying anything.
That's fine, I suppose. This guy's name's Richard Brooks. And then there was the guy in that one episode, The Message, who was like hunting them down, like the main guy.
Yeah.
And all I can think of is like, oh my god, it's the guy from The Sentinel. Who remembers that show? Nobody but me, apparently.
I'm aware that it exists, but that's about it. I've never seen it. Don't really get it. Don't need to.
That show was trash, but God, it's in my brain for some reason. I have no idea why.
Well, the fanish part of the internet is in love with it.
I hope so. There's like some niche subgroup, and they're like, "Oh my God, somebody mentioned the Sentinel." Great.
Yeah.
That's all I got. And of course, we already mentioned young Zac Efron being in the show.
Yeah.
That was fun. I never realized it before until this watch. I was like, that looks like Zac Efron. Looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, it is Zac Efron. So that happened.
That's to go and make some High School Musicals.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, Sarah Paulson is like the doctor.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I'd forgotten that's who that was.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher is from Bones.
Yes, she is. Yeah, I recognize her. She's been in tons of things.
I don't know. I think I've seen her in like one-off stuff before, but the only thing I've ever I recognize her from watching way too much Bones.
Bones is a show I never got into, but I believe you watch it because of David Boreanaz. Yes? No?
No, actually, I don't really have any particular love for him. He was awful in it, but no, I just really like procedurals, and that one was particularly nerdy. So it was so bad. I watched it. I was like, "This is awful. This is awful. Why am I still watching?" Oh no!
You're like, "Oh God, I'm gonna watch this again."
Every episode, even though I resent it, and I think the writers are terrible in a lot of ways. But anyway, I don't like either of the main characters. I like the supporting characters.
The supporting cast, yeah.
TV science. So.
Yeah, I get that. I get it.
Terrible is not any sort of barrier to me watching a show.
I can attest to that. Yes.
Yeah, it's fair.
Do you guys have any other notes about the movie or comments or anything?
I don't think so.
No. I'm glad
Oh.
that I signed up for this and watched it again because, as I said, I'm coming around on it. I'm not as mad about its general existence as I was before I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
So maybe someday I will come to all the way enjoy it.
Yeah.
Possible.
Well, that's why I love these rewatches because, like I said, I haven't watched the actual TV show in about 10 years, and I've watched the movie quite often, and like picking out like the different pace and the clear development of the characters, and you're like, oh, this is why I like this movie so much, is because of all this work they did beforehand. Then I got into the movie, and then I was like, yes, this is working for me. But yes, that's it. That's all I got. Any last words, Mike?
Yeah, if you haven't seen Firefly, watch it. It's fun.
Yeah. It doesn't matter that it's an older show and that it's brief and whatever. You can watch it in a weekend and it's totally worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good binge because it's short, it's sweet, it's
not as age. It hasn't aged like you think it would when you look at the year it was produced, and
yeah,
it's a fucking delight. Do the thing.
Yeah, that's one thing I really liked about it too, is that like they don't have a crazy amount of effects in this show, but the effects they do have were actually pretty decent, you know, for like a relatively low budget show. And then how they translated it into the movie worked really well as well. I really like that. Oh, that reminds me, there was one other thing I wanted to say. The opening scene on Serenity, when you're reintroducing all the characters and you start with like Mal and he walks through the ship and it's almost like a what do you call those scenes where it's like it's a continuous shot? That's it. A continuous shot. And he goes like from the bridge to the engine room, and then, you know, through the mess and into the bay at the back. Like that whole sequence I really enjoyed. I loved it. Yeah,
just a little whirlwind of like, hey, we actually built this like as a continuous set rather than like a bunch of individual sets, and like here are all the characters, here's how they react to Mel, here's how their dynamic is. Like it's very snappy to just try to get people up to speed.
It is. I really like that.
Keeping with like because they actually did build the ship, right? Like for the show.
Yeah.
They built it on 2 levels, but it does exist. It did exist on their soundstage. Based really like, I mean, I think the featurette on the DVD is called like Serenity, another character or whatever, and which is like cheesy as hell, but not wrong.
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah.
And yeah, like apparently the actors, like when they weren't working, like, you know, when they were off, they wouldn't like sit in their trailers. They'd like play cards in the lounge or whatever. Like they actually just sort of like spent time in the ship itself. And that's part of the reason that it looks like a place where people live, is because it kind of was for a while.
Yeah.
But I think it's also why they also looked so comfortable in this space, because they just spent the time in there.
They gelled a lot as a cast, and they they sort of gelled with the space and whatever. So
So apparently, I think it might be in the same featurette where they say that any of the shots that are like the people, like the actors are standing in front of the bay, like the cargo bay door, and it's open, and so you can see into the ship. There wasn't a lot of clearance. So they had to like basically they could only stand on like so far ahead of it, and then like they could eventually like the cameras would hit the wall. So they could basically only block those kinds of shots in one way.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Well, I think our final note is that we still enjoy this stuff, even though it's not perfect, and other people will also enjoy it if they want to.
Yeah, this podcast was a great opportunity to rewatch it. I love it.
Yeah, it was fun. I apparently always want to talk about Firefly.
I'm here for it. It's fine. We could do this. Yeah. It's good. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and doing this recording today.
Thank you. Inviting us.
Yeah, well,
you'll about ourselves, whatever.
Well, you guys are definitely going to be back throughout the year. It's always fun. So I look forward to talking to you guys again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we'll be talking about an odd combination of films, Finding Nemo and 4 Rooms. Hope you'll be here to listen.